Welcome to the Tell Your Friends Podcast, guys. Episode 14, NFL Week 11. Very special podcast presentation tonight. Very special guest, all the way from Pittsburgh, older brother Dave DeSalle. Dave, how you doing, man?
Hey, what's going on, my man? How we doing? How we doing today?
Dude, great to have you on here through the magic of the internet. I know we had Denzel on, was our first guest. You're our second guest. Definitely an important person, somebody I wanted to get on the show as soon as we had the idea to start it.
Definitely super excited about it. I feel like I want to say, like they do in the Pittsburgh radio shows here, long time listener, first time caller. Big shoes to fill too, by the way, for Big Mikey Jeets.
Yeah, we're missing Jeets this week. He went home. He went back for Thanksgiving a little early, but he'll be back on. He'll be back on next week.
I'm drinking a Yingling here in his honor, so I'll pour one out for him as a dead homie on this podcast.
We'll just give him a cheers. How about that? I'm surprised it's not a vodka soda though.
Yeah, oh, that's right. A little vodka club action there. Good point. All right, I should have done my homework a little better.
All right, so a little time capsule for, I'm sure, listening back, going through these in the future. But over the weekend, the Upper Deckers, the Baltimore's finest softball team, we were playing in the semifinal, looking to go to the championship. Had a great season. And I'm out there, I'm playing left field, I'm trying to make a play. I end up busting my shoulder. So I dislocated my shoulder for the fourth time. So I've been slinging it around the past few days. Kind of sucks, but hey, what can you do, you know?
You know what they say, fourth time's a charm, Drew.
I need one of those arms like the like Bucky from the Captain America, who's just got the bionic arm. Hook me up with one of those.
You gotta schedule that surgery, man. You really do need to.
Yeah, I gotta follow up appointments, so that's what the off season looks like it has. But anyways, we have what looks to be a very full show. What looks to be a very football NFL focused show. If you were looking for that, guys, you're in luck tonight. So, Dave, why don't you start out? Tell me what you saw from Week 11. Give me some highlights or some games, or what'd you see out there?
I tell you what, I'm gonna have to talk about my Pittsburgh Steelers first, man. Finally getting back into the win column. Thank goodness.
Yeah, what'd we lose? 3 in a row?
I think it was 4 actually.
Ugh.
4 losses in a row. Pittsburgh fans were starting to get a little rowdy here. Starting to be some rumblings about Tomlin, and the magic pill was the Cleveland Browns, as we hoped it would have been.
That's just what the doctor ordered.
I couldn't imagine if the Steelers would have went into that game into Cleveland and lost to the Browns. What would have happened here in Pittsburgh? I think everyone would have went just completely crazy.
They would have been just watching hockey. They would have been just watching hockey, that's what the Ohio people are doing. They're just watching Ohio State play. You know what I mean? They're not even tuned into all this circus that is the Browns.
Tell you what, Tomlin did the smart thing, and he rode on the shoulders of Mr. Le'Veon Bell, who just totally steamrolled the Browns. And that one, I think he had like 146 rushing yards or something like that. Added a bunch of catches too, which was awesome and good to see.
Basically anybody that plays the Browns, that plays Green Bay or San Fran, any of those 3 teams are just putting up NFL record-setting numbers every week.
It was a weird game though. We couldn't punch it in. We struggled in the red zone a lot. Something that we're gonna have to improve on going forward if the Steelers, still want to make the playoffs and be a favored team, I guess, in the playoffs in the AFC. But it was good to see the defense play better too. We actually were getting to the quarterback. They had a bunch of sacks, which was good. I think we were like last in the league in sacks or something like that coming into the game. So definitely something to build on for the defense.
And Steelers we're a little bit fortunate with the way our division sets up this year. Kind of a down year for the North, for the AFC North. You had Ravens Cowboys this week, and Cowboys kind of took care of business, beat down the Ravens. Cowboys have been just rolling. They're on fire. And, being here in Baltimore, hearing the Ravens talk, everyone thinks they're the real deal around here. They're like, oh, yeah, these Ravens, oh, yeah, we should take down the Cowboys. They beat the Steelers, and you saw what we did to the Steelers. And I'm like, dude, this Ravens team ain't nothing special, man. They ain't nothing special.
Is this the appropriate time where we should give a Dak Prescott shout out then?
Hey, the Dak Prescott podcast. That's right.
The Dak Prescott machine just continued to roll, man. I mean, unbelievable. Another 300-yard passing game. Finally got Des Bryant involved. Threw 2 touchdowns to Des Bryant. If you're a Des Bryant owner in fantasy, you gotta love your chances now as you're getting close to the playoffs. I would love to have Des Bryant. Now, earlier this season, I didn't want anything to do with him. Now I'm like, give me Des Bryant.
I mean, there's only so much credit you can give to this offensive line for the Cowboys. I mean, you got to start giving Dak credit where credit's due. Obviously, him and Zeke Elliott, I mean, if they can bottle that up for a few seasons, they could have a real franchise on their hands.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think it's that three-headed monster. It's, good quarterback play, not turning the ball over. Ezekiel Elliott, strong running back, but then the offensive line that's protecting Dak and opening up the holes for Zeke. So, I mean, that's a tough team to stop, and glad that they took care of business beating the Ravens, because now it means that both those teams are 5-5, that being the Ravens and the Steelers. So kept us in it for sure.
Now, the flip side to that whole story or that argument then is you got Mikey. I know he went up to, we said he went home early. Well, he stopped at the Giants game at MetLife against the Bears. So that's all, those teams are all in the same division there, right? You got Giants, Cowboys, Redskins, teams that are all just rolling. Giants picked up the W over the Bears. I mean, I guess Cutler got hurt or whatever.
Well, Mikey had to be clenching his butt cheeks a little bit there during that game, because the Bears were up early in that game, and I was not happy about it because I actually had the Giants defense, and I think the Bears put up like 16 points like real early in the game, and I was like, oh no, what did I do? Start the Giants defense. But then,
Cutler is dangerous. He's dangerous in a self-destructive way as well, but he can do some damage when he's on fire.
Well, that's what happened. At the end of the game, of course, the true Jay Cutler shines through, throws a interception to Landon Collins, who has like 5,000 interceptions on the year. And
that Landon Collins is unbelievable, man.
I know, he is incredible. So I'm sure Mikey's loving him. But Eli played decent. Eli had another decent game. I think Sterling Shepard caught a touchdown pass from him.
And I was never big on Eli, to be honest, and I know Mikey kind of knows some of that, but he's really shaping up or turning out this season to be like one of the best quarterbacks in the league. You know what I mean? You'd have to put him up there, right?
He's been like a game manager. Like, he's not. I think the best thing he's
it's a negative
doing,
term.
Well, it's not, because there's plenty of game managers that have won Super Bowls. Actually, Eli himself has won Super Bowls, being mostly a game manager. He's not losing games. Like, we've seen Eli have terrible games in the past and go on bad stretches throughout seasons, but he's just not doing anything great. Odell Beckham only had 50 or 60 receiving yards. Shepard only had 50 or 60 receiving yards, but he did get in the end zone, so that was huge. I don't know. I think if they just kind of continue down that path, though, they'll definitely, be one of the teams to beat, I think, in the NFC. So we'll see.
Yeah. The trouble is you can see 3 teams coming out of that division, Like I said, Cowboys, obviously, they're at the top. Then you got Redskins, who just plow over the Packers on Sunday night, and the Giants. I mean, I feel like we look at those 3 teams or that division. I mean, Philly's not too bad either. And they're all winning every single week. They're all winning, you know what I mean?
I know, you're right. Looking at that division now, that's right. I forgot about the Eagles in there. I mean, the Eagles are technically in last place right now in that division, and that's probably the best last place team besides maybe the Panthers in the whole league, so that is really interesting. I tell you what, man, I did not expect that from the Redskins on Sunday night. They put up a 42 spot on the Packers, which was crazy. I feel like if I was wide receiver for going against the Packers defense, I think I could have 100 receiving yards against them. That's how poor their defense has been playing.
That's what I was going to say, and what I think it's really attributed to some of the injuries. I mean, I couldn't sit here and name who's injured on their defense, but from what it sounds like is like their whole secondary's backups, and then they had like 2 linebackers go down in the game Sunday night. So I don't know, man. It just sounds like they're losing bodies or something because
that's absolutely it. And I guess Clay Matthews is playing with like a bum leg or something too. So he's not at
Yeah.
100% either.
I mean, you look at the Packers offense, they shouldn't be that bad of a team, but you got to play both ways. Um, what else? I know the interesting thing for me, and I don't want to screw you up on the order, but Monday Night Football being in Mexico, I thought that was crazy, man. I mean, they're telling me about the stadium that's 7,000 feet in the air or something. I mean, so
Yeah.
Denver is what, Mile High Stadium. That's
Right. Right.
5,000 something, right? And remember when the Steelers would go there, they'd have, who was that, Ryan Clark? He wouldn't even play because of like his
Right.
medical condition or something.
Yeah. No, that's true. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
now this
And
thing's 7,000, 2,000 more feet higher, you know?
I guess, yeah, yeah, that was crazy. I picked the Raiders in that game. I thought the Raiders were gonna walk all over the Texans, but it ended up being a lot closer than I expected. And actually, the Raiders struggled for a good portion of that game. I mean, Derek Carr really didn't have anything going, and the running game didn't have anything going. I think your boy Latavius Murray, he didn't have a very good day rushing the ball. He had a decent amount of catches for a decent amount of receiving yards. But they would find a way to get it done, I guess. In
Well,
the end,
they
so that's
got
perfectly
Romeo
fine.
Crennel on that. Romeo Crennel on the Texans D, and apparently they give him high praise on the defense. They say Romeo Crennel is a genius over there. I'm not so sure, but they give him a lot of credit. And then Derek Carr, everyone's praising him as this elite, super top quarterback. I need to start paying some attention to him, I guess.
Well, I tell you what, I mean, he still, he ended up, even though he started out slow, I mean, he had that long touchdown pass, which was really a long run after the catch to their fullback, that Uwawale.
Oh yeah,
I
yeah, I saw him
can't pronounce
rumbling.
his name. And then he did find Cooper late in the game, too, for a
What is
touchdown.
his? He's been in the league a few years now, though. Carr. What is he like a
Yeah.
second year, third year? I think he's like a second or third year guy.
Third. I want to say Sean. I'm going leaning more towards third to 4 year guy.
See,
Probably
so
third
here's
year.
where we do this. All right, chalk it up to the listeners. You guys do your homework. Tell us what he is.
If you're saying 2 to 3, and I'm saying 3 to 4, it's probably three.
A good middle range.
Yeah. But yeah,
All
I'm
right,
liking the
so
Raiders going forward though. I mean, they're sitting at what, like I think 8-2 now, and leading their division. So I don't know. Maybe they're explosive offense that could give the Patriots some trouble. So we'll see.
and they're kind of a franchise that's like looking for an identity too, because they're like, are we going to play in L.A.? Are we going to play? They don't know where they're going in the next 3-4 years. Um,
They're looking
so
for a home.
another, yeah, I know another team, is kind of similar situations that like looking for their identity, right? The L.A. Rams. So they get their first season. They get the Hard Knocks this year, and then didn't they start? Didn't new what's his name started out there for them this week, right?
Jared Goff. Jared Goff made his
Yeah,
debut.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. 17. I think his numbers were like 17 of 31, 130 pass yards, no touchdowns, but no turnovers either. But I think I caught a stat on him earlier today. It was like he averaged 4 yards per
What
completion.
was it? Was what Dolphins? What was the score on that? Do you have the score pulled up?
Well, so yeah, they were up 10-0 in that game
Okay.
until actually 4 minutes left in that game, and then the Dolphins scored a pair of late touchdowns, and Goff did have a chance while they were down to try to lead them down the field,
Yeah.
but nothing happened. I think he actually did throw a Hail Mary attempt that didn't have a chance. Basically, it fell incomplete and it didn't look good. It wasn't pretty.
I mean, if what? I mean, Gurley's hurt, or I'm not sure if he's healthy or hurt. But
No, he's
you
healthy.
look you
And
look
he
at
actually
him.
had a
You look at
touchdown.
him and you look at him and Gurley. In a similar way that could be that like Prescott and Zeke Elliott in the future, right?
Yeah, I guess, but I mean, I don't know. There's been a lot of doubts about Jared Goff,
Okay.
and to see him come out and it almost kind of looked like, yeah, I really don't know what we have here. I mean, it definitely doesn't
Right.
seem like he's as polished as like a Carson Wentz or as exciting as a Dak Prescott or anything
I
right
mean,
now.
maybe it's a system thing too. I mean, what's the stat on Jeff Fisher? He's going to set the record for most losses for an NFL coach. I mean,
A lot of people are saying that Jeff Fisher needs to be gone after the season, and they need to start fresh. I don't know. All I know is if I'm playing fantasy football, I don't want to own any Rams, and that's including Todd Gurley. I
right.
mean, he finally had a touchdown. I think he still only had like 70 rushing yards or something like that. But I mean, teams are just going to be sticking 10 guys in the box for the rest of the year. So, I mean, there's not going to be a lot of running room for him. I mean, they're going to make Jared Goff beat them or whoever's at quarterback for the Rams. So, I'm not liking that situation.
Well, hey man, I just want to stop for a second and say I like this. I mean, you and me, we'll talk on the phone a little bit every now and then, but rarely do we get to just hammer on some sports. This is awesome. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man, this is cool. We'll have to get a baseball one going in the summer and talk some Buckos.
All right, so something that people may have saw if they were paying attention to this was there's actually 12 missed extra points last week. They set an NFL record with that.
Yes, there was. So actually, I pulled the list of kickers before we got on here. There's some really good kickers on this list that missed extra points.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Goskowski, he's one of them. He's
Oh
on this
my
list.
God. Jeez.
Uh, Hauschka for the Seahawks.
Hauschka, right? Hauschka.
Hauschka, he's on the list. Nugent for the Bengals, which that just topped off an all-around bad day for the
Yeah,
Bengals.
jeez.
By the
What,
way, losing
what
AJ
about
Green, losing the game, losing Gio Bernard, that was bad all around.
what about who's always the sure-footed Sebastian Janikowski? How about him?
No, he's safe. He was not on the list. But like the
He's like
crazy,
he's got to be the David Ross of kickers, man. That guy's like old as dust.
how's it work though? Like, don't you get to line up where you want? Like, you can pick the middle, or you can pick like the hash mark or whatever.
Is it the side that they went in on? I'm not sure about that. That's interesting.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure like kickers can even pick where they want to line up at. And here's the other thing too. Like, I was thinking it might be like a farther field goal. It's still at the 15. Like, it's not like they're kicking from the 25 or something like that.
Right.
So it still should be a gimme. I mean, it was the 2 yard line before. Now it's the 15. Like, that's still really really close. I feel like I can make that on a pretty consistent basis. But
Just
so
strange that they all line up in one week. It's just weird.
yeah.
All
Well,
these
I did
all the
hear
misses.
another quick little stat though I caught this morning was that even with all those misses, the conversion rate is still like 94% or something
Yeah.
like that. So like although more teams are like going for two now and things like that, you still have at least a 94% chance of making it. So it's not like, it's down to 50% or something like that, or something crazy.
Interesting. All right, well, want to get a quick shout out in there. Give you a thank you to PJ. PJ, thank you for keeping us honest, man. Here's your moment of zen. I was talking a week or two back, Saints Broncos. There was a blocked kick, and it was actually an extra point, not a field goal. I called it a field goal. Thanks for keeping us honest, PJ. Appreciate it.
I gotta give another little shout out to PJ too. I'm actually currently tied with him for second place in our
Oh, get
fantasy
out.
league. So yeah, I'm looking.
And when you won recently, right? Did you win that last year or the year before? Ah, look at you, man. All right. I'm going to hit everybody with a lightning fast power rankings. We're going to blaze through these. We're going to a couple tidbits after that, and then we'll send you on your week here. All right. So, bum, 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 bum. Week 11 power rankings. Kind of chalk up here at the top. All right. We got Matty Z. He's sitting at 9-2 record. Matt, you got the number one spot. Broke off 7 straight wins. He's rolling. Number 2, you got Dick's Girthquake. Nolan, he's sitting at 8-3. Both those guys mathematically clinched their playoffs. They wrote their tickets, punched their tickets, whatever you say. Number 3, you got Timmy H. Maybe next year, sitting at 7-4. I struggled with this 3 and 4, who to put which where. 4, you got Brandon, first and strong, also 7-4. Now they're matched up against each other next week, so we'll see where that takes them. Tough matchup for those guys. Tim's won 3 straight. Brendan had John Brown. He laid an egg this past week, but still picked up the W. Coming in at number 5, Mikey Biblis, parentheses, me, 6-5 record. Number 6, Ozier Daddy, sitting at 6-5. That's Aaron. the O Dog. Number 7, Bird Street U, co-host Mikey Jeets. He's got the losing records in at 5-6. Then I put Steve Pedley in at 8, 4-7. I got Bonesaw Aaron's team at 9 at 5-6. He had Kirk Cousins on a spot start against me. Kirk Cousins puts up career week. Go figure. I'm dropping myself down to 10th. Not happy about it. There's a lot of effort going into this. We're doing the podcast. I'm sitting here at freaking 10th. 5-6 record. I have 3 losses in a row, and this week I lose AJ Green and Zach Miller to injury. So just a very, very brutal week for me, trying to still sneak into playoffs somehow. Number 11, Mikey Viggs, 3-8. Special happy birthday shout out to you, Mikey Viggs. Happy birthday, big guy. Bottom dweller, perennial bottom dweller, sitting at number 12, 1-10 record. Ray. All right, so Ray is mathematically eliminated. Viggs pretty much eliminated. You got this Biblis, you got Aaron, you got Mikey Jeets, you got Pedley, Bonesaw, and me, all vying for playoffs with 2 weeks left. Should be an interesting finish to the season. I know I'm hoping to sneak in there. Woo! I'm going to take a breath now.
Well done. I guess I heard in there that you and Jeets both have losing records right now. Is that true?
Yeah, the Bird Street boys suck.
Dude, you guys got to stop putting so much time into your podcast. Start putting more time into your fantasy teams, huh?
Start actually making moves. I know, man. I know. All right, so looking forward, coming up, well, we got Thanksgiving. I know it's one of my favorite holidays, right, Dave? You enjoy Thanksgiving a bunch, right?
Oh, I enjoy food and I enjoy libations. So yes, you can put me in that category.
The turkey trot, man. I love running the turkey trot. We'll be down there. I guess it might rain a little on us, which would suck, but
It's an early start to the day, but it's get you up and going and get you an empty stomach for later on.
yeah. What I think you were saying did you have the matchups pulled up for Thanksgiving?
I do. So one of the
football?
best things about Thanksgiving is, of course, NFL football. So the early game, we got the traditional, the classic, the Detroit Lions on Thanksgiving Day against the Vikings. I don't know who you like in that game. I'm a big Lions fan. I love a lot of their players. I love Frat Stafford. I think he's awesome. I love the party with him and hang out with him. Bunch of talent on their team. I'm excited Theo Riddick's back. I want to see the Lions make the playoffs. I want to see the Lions win playoff games. I'm all in on them. Who do you like?
And that's a division matchup, and I think Detroit's leading that division, and the Vikings are going the wrong direction.
Yeah, I think Vikings are coming off a win though.
They were like 4-0. They were like 4-0 to start, and then
right. They are coming off a win, but they're actually tied for that division, the Vikings and Lions. So
okay.
that will be interesting. I think they're both 6-4, I believe. So next up in the midday game, you got the Redskins and the Cowboys.
That's a big game.
Another really good game too, because both teams are coming off really nice wins. Cowboys have been playing
Another division game.
Cowboys have been playing great for a really long time. The Redskins all of a sudden look like they're one of the top teams in the NFC. You got Josh Norman versus Des Bryant. So another exciting matchup. That should be a good one. And then closing out.
The hope of good football on Thanksgiving is like, I always have all this hope that there's going to be good games, and then they always end up lopsided or something, it seems like.
You're right. Little known fact, too, Tony Romo made his season debut last year on Thanksgiving Day, and now this year he'll be watching from the sidelines behind Dak Prescott, but just another Dak Prescott shout out. Had to get that in there.
He made a what debut?
He made his debut last year on Thanksgiving Day. So this year, not going to be
Tony Romo, what?
Yeah, he was out. He was injured for like the whole start of the year. I mean, last year.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. I was like, he's been in the league years and years. All right.
No, he was injured, so he made his season debut on Thanksgiving. Anyways, the late matchup, we got the Steelers versus the Colts. So that'll be cool because we don't usually get to see the Steelers play on Thanksgiving. So that'll be a nice little treat Thursday night. It's sounding like Andrew Luck is not supposed to play in this game, which would be a huge advantage for the Steelers. I was actually thinking the Steelers would probably drop this game, but now
I would be thankful if he didn't start. I would be thankful for that.
Yeah, so it's looking like Luck isn't supposed to play. I think that's the last thing I heard was before we signed on here. So do you know who the backup is for the Colts?
Who would back him up?
It's not Hasselbeck.
Not like a Schaub. Schaub already. I think he's in Baltimore. Um,
It is Scott
I don't think I
Tolzien.
have it.
Scott Tolzien is the
Oh,
Colts
I've
backup.
heard of him. What is he? Yeah, I have heard of that guy.
So
He's somewhere from the Big Ten. He's like a Wisconsin or some like red and white team. I feel like.
he is from Wisconsin. Um,
See, there you go. I just know that because of Denzel. I had the Big Ten B1G baby.
so I tried looking this guy up a little bit to find out, is possibility for him to be decent or what. But his last
I don't
time
think
he
so.
appeared in an NFL game was in 2013. He actually,
Green Bay.
yeah, for Green Bay. He actually played three
See, I told you
games.
I know this guy.
Yeah, he played 3 games in a row for Green Bay, but he only had like one touchdown, 5 interceptions, and I think Green Bay was like had 2 losses and one tie actually during those three
He's what? He's
games.
kind of like small. He's like kind of smaller, I think, in stature,
Let's see here.
from what I remember.
Saying 6'3", not bad. 29 years old. That's a good age. I like that. It's
All
my
right.
age.
Well, we have just completely blown way past our time limit here with no regard, but that's okay. Special guest, special episode. I apologize to Jeets on the time. Apologize to the listeners. Hopefully, you're still hanging in here till the end with us. I think we got to sign this thing off quick here, Dave. You got any last words?
Let's go Steelers, man, and let's eat some turkey.
Let's go Steelers. I'll catch up with you tomorrow night when I drive to Pittsburgh. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening. Dave, very thanks for having you, man. I appreciate it. We got to get you back on or back down here to Baltimore when we get together. Guys, have a good week. Tell your friends.